Do you think you need thousands of words to speak English well? What if I told you, you don't? In fact, the most powerful words in English are probably words you already know. Surprising, right? Everyone says you must learn more vocabulary, but the truth is, you need to use what you already have in a smarter way. These words are small, easy, and you learned them a long time ago. But maybe you never learned how to use them to make your English natural, clear, and confident. That's why, even after years of study, you still feel stuck sometimes. It's not about knowing everything. It's about knowing how to use the right words at the right time. Today we'll explore 5 small English words that can change everything. Once you learn how to use them well, you'll speak more freely, sound more confident, and connect better with people. After this, you'll never look at these words the same way again. First word, yes. The door that opens. Think about this. You're in that moment when an opportunity to practice English appears. Someone invites you to join a conversation, a meeting, or even a casual chat. Deep down, you feel that nervous knot in your stomach. Your first reaction is to say no, make an excuse, and wait for next time. But instead, you take a deep breath and say, yes. In that moment, something changes. It's not just about accepting the invitation. It's about letting yourself live the moment, even if you're not sure you're ready. When you say yes, you're not promising that everything will be perfect. You're telling yourself that you will try, that you will take one step further than you usually do, that you will put yourself in a situation where your English has to show up. And believe me, this good pressure makes you pay attention to every word, try new sentences, and find solutions on the spot. You start to see that you don't need perfect English before you start using it. And then you realize that big, scary situation starts to feel more natural. You walk away thinking, I still made mistakes, but I spoke. And that's the point. Every yes in these moments trains not only your English, but also your courage. You see that fear doesn't disappear, but you learn to act even with it. And that's when something as important as saying yes comes in. Knowing when to say no. Second term, no. The power of closing doors. Saying no is also a choice that changes everything. Maybe you've said yes to things that gave you nothing just to avoid disappointing someone. This happens in English too. Joining conversations that don't challenge you, wasting time with methods that don't work, accepting explanations that only confuse you. When you learn to say no to what doesn't move you forward, you protect your focus and your energy for what truly matters. No is a filter. It's when you see that your time is limited, and every time you say yes to something unimportant, you are saying no to something that could help you grow. It's refusing the same old automatic translation and instead pushing yourself to form the sentence on your own. It's saying no to the urge to skip practice because of laziness or fear. Little by little, you see that no is not about closing doors to the world, but about making space for what is worth it. And it's interesting how no also gives you clarity on where to put your effort. When you stop getting lost in distractions, you start seeing patterns in how you communicate. And then you start paying attention not only to the words you use, but to the ones that can change the direction of a conversation. That's when a small but powerful word appears, one that can flip everything upside down. Third expression, but. The switch in the conversation. Have you noticed how sometimes a conversation is going well until someone says, but? This small word changes everything. When you use it, what comes after usually matters more than what came before. It's like erasing what you just said and replacing it with something new. If you say, I like your idea, but, the other person is already waiting for criticism. In English, this not only changes the tone but also the meaning of your message. At first, you might use but without thinking as a normal part of speaking. But when you start paying attention, you see that it can create barriers or even close doors. If you replace it with and or however, you keep the conversation open. Try this. I like your idea and maybe we can try. The feeling is different, more collaborative. This simple change can shift the energy of a conversation and slowly change how people respond to you. And this awareness goes beyond English. You start to see how small words can change the direction of everything, like a light touch on the steering wheel that takes the car to a different road. And then you wonder, if one word can change the present, what about a word that can open the future? Fourth word, I, the center of transformation. Every time you start a sentence in English with I, you put yourself at the center of what you say. It's not just grammar. It's taking ownership of your speech. I think, I feel, I want. These expressions show that you're not just repeating what you heard, but speaking from your own view. This is when English stops being just a technical skill and starts reflecting your identity. At first, it can feel strange to put yourself out there. There's the fear of making mistakes, of sounding unsure, of not finding the right words. But the more you use I to share your thoughts and feelings, the more you see that it's a bridge to real connection. When you say, I don't understand, can you explain? You're not showing weakness, you're showing interest. And that changes the way people listen and respond to you. Over time, you see that I doesn't just help you communicate better. It helps you understand yourself. When you speak about yourself, you hear yourself. When you hear yourself, you understand. And when you understand, you can shape the way you want to express yourself. This is when all these words, yes, no, but, if, I, start working together to transform not only your English but the way you stand in the world. Fifth term, can, the key to possibility. When you use can, you give yourself permission to try. It's a word that opens doors in your mind before they open in real life. Saying I can learn this, or I can try, changes the way you feel about the challenge in front of you. You stop thinking only about limits and start thinking about options. The beauty of can is that it works both ways. It shows what's possible for you and for others. If you tell someone, you can do it, you're giving them encouragement. If you tell yourself, I can do it, you're planting the seed of action. It's small, but it changes your attitude from waiting to moving. And once you start using can more often, you notice how it shapes your confidence. It's not magic, but it's close, because each time you say can, you push fear a little further away. And then sooner or later, you'll need another word to keep that action going until the very end. Sixth and last expression, will, the word of commitment. Will is not just about the future. It's about decision. When you say, I will, you're making a promise to yourself. It's no longer a dream or a maybe. It's a plan. I will practice today feels very different from I should practice today. One pushes you to act, the other leaves the door open for excuses. Using will changes how people see you too. It shows confidence and clarity. If you tell someone, I will send it tomorrow, they trust you more than if you say, maybe I'll send it tomorrow. This small shift makes a big difference in your personal and professional relationships. And the best part is, will builds momentum. Every time you keep a promise you made with will, your trust in yourself grows. And when you trust yourself, your English and your life move in a direction you choose, not one chosen for you. So now you know, sometimes the smallest words can make the biggest difference. They're easy to remember but powerful when you use them with purpose. The real change happens when you start using them every day in real conversations without waiting to feel perfect. Which of these 5 words do you want to practice first? How will you use it today? Think about a conversation you might have, even a short one, and try it out. You'll be surprised how quickly your confidence grows when you take action. If you want to keep improving your English in simple and smart ways, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. And don't miss the next video. 10 phrases that make you sound fluent, even without advanced vocabulary. Trust me, you'll love it.